How about Janet? Since there's one or two, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I want No, don't be sorry. Don't be sad, be glad. Hi. Hello. So happy to see you. It's so good. I'm so happy. Happy to see you. Oh, so cool. You're so cool. After I told you about your cold. I know you fuck up. You're still here. I love it. Yeah, it's punk rock. Exactly. Sorry, get it. It's all fun.
Brenda convinced me to read today, which is not exactly my strong point. So, bear with me. Anyone who knew me knew I was a Catholic schoolgirl. So the running joke about me was to the altar or to the grave. My father had told me I'd be better off committing suicide than coming home pregnant. I was more afraid of him than social pressure. So I waited until I was in college and out of his house before I had sex. Completely. Upon graduating from high school, my rather stoic parents insisted that I have a graduation party. At the time, I was dating Mike Muir from Suicidal Tendencies, and so they decided that provide the music. As one could imagine, the party got bigger and bigger, and for some unknown reason, my parents invited their friends to come along too. My dad was the bartender. Think about that for a moment. Catastrophe was just waiting to happen. We laughed later, but it wasn't very funny. During the party, Jay Adams from Dogtown got into a debate with my mother, where she stood there threatening him with a cane. And it was all worked out at the time. However, later on that night, the neighbors were celebrating a CIF football final, and they got into conflict with the punks leaving my party. And the punks ran through the neighbor's house and broke every window in the house. Suffice it to say, the families weren't friends after that, and I moved out later that night.
Did you really?
Yeah. I lived in a car for a while, stayed with friends, you know, did the do, but I couldn't deal with my dad after. I mean, the ramifications, it's not so much that there was a conflict, but it was a conflict with neighbors that my parents had lived by for 20 plus years. And it didn't work. Later that night was the same night Jay got into a fight in Hollywood that ended up not going well, and he ended up incarcerated.
Was he there?
Roki Dog? Is that one?
Yeah, the one on
Was it a Roki Dog? Everything happened at Roki Dog.
It was down the street from there, but yeah.
Wow.
So, that's
Wow.
my story. Perry kept me out of trouble, though.
Yeah, that's what happened to Perry. He got in trouble.
Perry threatened to break both of my arms if I ever did drugs.
Did you really?
He said that was his job.
Janet kept me alive.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember one time I came,
Yeah.
we go to my mom's house down in Simi, and I didn't actually live in Simi. I grew up in the Valley more. My parents lived there. This kind of when I met Janet, and we had a big bottle of liquid value, you know. And I'm seeing, like, for some reason I'm seeing an eye in the middle of my head. I'm like, Janet, I'm seeing an eye in the middle of my head. But no, Janet kept me alive for the longest time because, for me, like, punk rock killed me, but the drugs made me live social. I was a very shy kid, so I went full on the drugs. And Janet kind of watched, made sure that I didn't do it, and I made sure she didn't do it because I knew what I actually didn't know what I was doing, but I knew it.
He knew it was bad.
Yeah.
He just knew.
He
And
was
at
so
the time,
cute,
because I was
though.
supposedly a good
He was so
girl,
cute for
he was also keeping me safe from all kinds of other random, creepy people as well. Speaking of which.
All right. All right.
Come on, Stephen.
Woo!
Yeah.